Hi everyone, Scares here, and today we're talking about an album that I'd been looking forward to for months once I saw it was announced, and even more so now that I'm seeing them next Friday, Thou with Umbilical. I almost forgot the name of the album despite the fact that it is a single word. Now, what do I love about Thou that I haven't already talked about in previous videos, completely unrelated to them? First off, their collaborative works with Regana and Full of Hell are some of my favorite albums, and that's a blanket statement. I think they're some of the best works from the other artists, and I also think it's a real good showcase of just how much of a powerhouse the band themselves are. And I will admit, I hadn't really listened to much of their solo stuff, solo being the band themselves without collaboration. But going through, I was like, yeah, it is pretty heat. But this album, ooh, this album's new. This album's new for them, and it's kind of, oh, it's doing something I really like. Now, apparently, they've described themselves as a grunge band, or based off of Seattle grunge, and to that I say, no. Simply no. They sound nothing like a grunge band, and like I can't stretch the term. First off, grunge is a dead genre. I feel like we have to really establish that now. That it's not a thing anymore. Like it was a thing for like 10 minutes in the 90s. It's not a thing anymore. Grunge is dead, just like how punk is dead. Let it die. That said, I do really appreciate the gritty tone of this album. The guitars and bass are low, so low. And the drums, that snare, like, it's such a good contrast that by the time you're really like, by the time you get to the big breakdowns, the big hits, it really like, it kind of makes you sit up. You're like, oh my god, what the fuck? And on top of that, this entire album is about self-loathing. The entirety of it. I mean, just open the lyrics to any of the songs, and somewhere in there, it's bad. Emotional Terrorist, for example, obviously a really reflective piece of the self bullshittery. And yeah, let's talk about other specific tracks. Why am I having such a hard time remembering the names of these? Unbited Guest, really like that one. I don't know. I like songs that have like vaguely horror adjacent like themes going on. So like this one was a pretty reasonable pick for me. Fuck, I'm forgetting it. House of Ideas. I love House of Ideas, especially that one part where it's just the guitar and it's just the same dunk 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 dunk. I love shit like that. Like fuck it. I don't need lyrics or drums or bass. Just do a full minute of single guitar strumming, and I'm happy. But then the breakdown afterwards is phenomenal, as you would expect. We also have. Why am I forgetting the name? There was a third song I was thinking of. I Feel Nothing When I Watch You Cry, or When I See You Crying, whatever, that one. Insane song. First off, the title's fucking crazy, but the song itself is, again, another just absolute evisceration of the mind and the ears, and I think that's kind of the vibe of the album. I read a little bit of the Pitchfork review because I just wanted to see what people thought of it, and yeah, it seems like that's about the vibe of the album. It seems the consensus on the lyrics and the sound, but again, I really do want to stress how it's not grunge. There's nothing grungy about this album. Like, sure, the second to last song, I'm forgetting the name of it, but like, they've got some like, I don't know, more hippity hoppity in it, but like, just because they got more groove doesn't mean it's like a grunge. Like, it doesn't, nothing on this album sounds like Nirvana. Nothing. Not even a little bit. I saw they mentioned Alice in Chains. I would have to listen to more Alice in Chains to know that, but I doubt that. Like, very specifically, I doubt it. But yeah, no, again, just an insanely dense and low-tuned experience. Really, just what I love about Thou, and like getting such a full frontal kind of assault in that regard. Really, what I was looking forward to with this, especially because, again, like it's a contrast from their normal stuff. Normally, their stuff's a lot dronier, a lot longer, a lot more not methodic, but definitely slower paced. So getting something so kind of jam packed, like one after another, and everything's really like high tempo. It's a nice change, and I really do appreciate kind of the variety that it brings to the table in regards to their discography. Um, but that's about it. I don't really have a lot of like deep thoughts about this album. It's just a good one. Like it again, it's low, it's heavy. It feels very inspired by kind of the like recent like upward trend of hardcore. It feels like a lot of metal bands or like rock bands are taking a lot of influence from it because like bands like Knocked Loose and Drain and Speed have just become international fucking phenomenons. Like, but because of that, it feels like a lot of bands, again, on the darker, more underground DIY side, are embracing it too. And when you start getting bands like Thou doing it, that's when you get some fucking meat in there. And yeah, I'd give this a solid 7 out of 10. I will be bumping this just for funsies. And yeah, I'm seeing them next Friday. I'm very, very excited to it. For it.